I recently sailed on Utopia of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ship, and actually, I went on it twice. So, in this video, I'm going to be discussing what I do and don't like about this brand new ship. Hey y'all, it's Koala bringing you quality cruise content. First, let's have some context. So, I stayed in two different cabins. On the first sailing, we stayed in a junior suite. Now, this was a junior suite located on deck 6, so it was actually a part of the Sky Suite class, which is an interesting thing to know. The second suite that we stayed in was the Crown Loft Suite. This is a 2-story gigantic suite. Now, I do have separate videos on both of these cabins, but I have to note, for this being a brand new ship, I was a little bit disappointed by some of the choices, particularly in the Crown Loft Suite. The safe opens in such a weird way. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, unfortunately. And secondly, the bathroom downstairs doesn't have any hooks on the door. And considering I just got off Grandeur of the Seas, which is Royal Caribbean's oldest ships, and that has hooks on the door. So for Royal Caribbean to miss that on their newest ship was a little bit surprising to me. Now let's talk about the suite experience. I really enjoy staying in a suite for all of the extra perks that you get. I do think that the suite sun deck on Utopia is brilliant. It is large and it's got that neighborhood feel similar to MSC Cruise Line, which is really well known for how they handle the suite area because it's all in one area. Everything is, you have to tap your C card to get into. So it's a little bit more exclusive and a little bit more private. And I think Royal Caribbean did a good job of doing this on Utopia of the Seas. And you can see this sun deck is massive. It spans across the ship right here. And we get all of the aft views. We overlook the sports court, the mini golf, flow rider, and all that. So I think it's a great spot. And as mentioned, it's right by your cabin if you're staying in a suite. So it's really convenient. The only thing is if you are staying in a Sky Class Junior Suite that is located on the lower deck, it's going to be a bit more of a walk. However, if you're staying in majority of the suites, then you will be located on this deck or the deck below. So the suites are on two decks, deck 17 and deck 18. So do keep that in mind. Honestly, had no issues with feeling seasick in the cabin. I know bigger ships, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, the waves must be more impactful. Well, honestly, sometimes I really don't feel like I get seasick on the bigger ships, and I think that's a good thing. I would consider that to be a good thing. Another great thing about staying in a suite is you do get the towels up here too, so you don't have to check them out downstairs. Just like the small things are what I like to notice and try and point out regarding suite experiences and just cruises in general. So overall, I think that the suite area on Utopia of the Seas is definitely top notch. I do like Coastal Kitchen and the Suite Lounge also being located in the suite neighborhood, which is on the deck below. And again, you have to tap your SeaPass card to even get into the neighborhood. So it is very peaceful. Let's talk about dining next. So Royal Caribbean has been pushing for a lot of specialty restaurants. And on Utopia of the Seas, we're going to have a very large assortment. We have Hooked, the seafood restaurant. We have the Mason Jar, which is kind of your southern cuisine. We have Giovanni's, which is your classic Italian. On this ship, you will notice that Giovanni's is located in the location Wonderland usually is on Oasis class ships. So they've taken out Wonderland in lieu of putting Giovanni's there. Do I think that was a smart idea? I'm not sure. A lot of people are it's a very divisive restaurant, Wonderland is. But we also have the Royal Railway, which is a performance dinner, which is really awesome, actually. And we have the Izumi Extended Experience, and we have the Omakase, which is new, as well as Izumi in the Park, which is like a grab-and-go kind of venue where you can take sushi on the go, and you can also get bubble waffles. I love that they added this. I think it's a great addition, and Izumi is such a popular restaurant as well that I think they've done a pretty good job of giving the people what they want in that regard. Of course, we also have Chops Grill, fan favorite, and then the 150 restaurant. And that is an incredibly amazing restaurant, one of my favorites. on Royal Caribbean. We also have the Solarium Bistro. So a lot of these are specialty restaurants, but the Solarium Bistro is complimentary. You still do have to book it though. So with this being said, there's a lot of specialty restaurants on this ship. So I think that Royal Caribbean is definitely still trying to push for making the most bang out of their buck in terms of trying to get people to book these restaurants and experiences. Do I think that they shouldn't have specialty restaurants? I'm not sure, because I think that they have a time and a place as well. Another thing too is like on the boardwalk we have Playmakers and Johnny Rockets. I love going to Playmakers for like a special lunch, say it's my birthday or someone's birthday. I love to be able to do something special like that. But I really wish that Royal Caribbean did offer more complimentary spots to choose from rather than just the main dining room, Windjammer, Solarium Bistro. Now let's talk quality real quick. I think that the food on here was very good. And at least having tried it twice, I can say that it was consistently good. Now, I did focus more on specialty dining, and that's usually really good, but sometimes I've had a hit or miss. However, I did find that the food was good both times. There's a bit of a debate on whether the newer ships get better priority for better quality food, and I think, and at least historically from my cruise experience, I think the Oasis class ships do tend to have some of the better dining experiences and quality. Whether that has anything to do with it being a newer ship and Royal Caribbean's pushing for that, I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate on it, but what I can say is that the food was good and was on par with, if not better, than the typical Royal Caribbean standard. We have a new type of suite on board, and that is the Solarium Suite. It is located literally right next to the solarium. Now, I think that's really cool. I haven't had a chance to stay in this suite. It is definitely on my list for sure for sometime in the future. But I do wonder the pros and cons of this, right? Technically, it's very tucked away, and you wouldn't even know it's there unless you knew, right? So there's that, but I also wonder how noisy it might be. Don't get me wrong, the solarium is an adults only area, but I can imagine it might not always be the quietest. So let me know what you think of this suite down in the comments below. Overall, I think Utopia of the Seas is a great addition to the Oasis class. It's honestly, besides the Royal Railway and the extension to Izumi, plus, if it matters to you, the omission of Wonderland, this really just feels like any Oasis class ship. Do I think that the extended Omakase experience and the Royal Railway are worth it? To me, I enjoyed it. I think Royal Railway, and honestly the Omakase too, is something that you should try at least once. Particularly with the Royal Railway, with it being a performance dinner, I think it is probably something similar to Wonderland where you could do it once, enjoy the experience, and maybe you don't have to do it again, or maybe you don't have to do it again for a while. And I'll be honest, getting into Royal Railway was a lot of hard work, and it probably was because it was an inaugural sailing, but with it being a new ship, everyone's kind of trying to figure out what it is and are interested in doing it. So that was a little bit of an issue for us, but I was really grateful that we were able to get in there for seating. Would I absolutely recommend Utopia of the Seas? For sure. I think the entertainment was on par with the company. As I mentioned, the food was just as good as always, if not better. And I think if you really do love Izumi, this is definitely the ship that you want to be on. If that's like your favorite restaurant, you could go to Izumi on a 4-night cruise every single night. You can go to sushi, hibachi, omakase, and do like Izumi in the park if you wanted to. You could absolutely center your cruise around that. Otherwise, the activities are very similar to Oasis class ships. And I think if you were to ask me, should I go on Utopia of the Seas now? Maybe I'd say if the price is right, then yes. But if you are just looking to have a really good vacation and say a different Oasis class ship is a little bit more towards your price range, I don't think you'd be missing out on a whole lot, to be honest. Otherwise, I do think this is a beautiful, fantastic ship, definitely modern, and definitely what Royal Caribbean is good at. Big, bold, and fun. Alright, y'all, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things cruising. And thank you to our Patreon and YouTube members who support the channel. I'll see y'all in the next video, and bon voyage!